Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I am Mountie Carl, and welcome to the State of the Game recap for March 16th, I think it is. Yes, today is March 16th, and it is that part of the week where we all tune in to watch on Twitch Hamish and Yannick bromancing each other, well, basically eye-fucking each other at the camera while we all watch awkwardly. Now, this State of the Game recap is really about how I feel that either Hamish and Yannick have no clue about what's going on outside of their little clique of ETF people and popular people and all that stuff, or nope. That's the first one, and that's probably going to cover what I feel about it. And I want to say that yes, Massive is apparently, at least according to what they said in the State of the Game, they are indeed listening and reading what people are writing. Awesome, but is it going to do any good? Are there enough people on the team still who aren't working on Avatar to do anything about all the stuff that we're doing? That's the million-dollar question, and I personally have no idea who's working on the Division at this point or who's working on Avatar, but I can say that according to Like Butter, you're hearing it first. Massive is working on the Division 2. Yes, Like Butter announced today that Massive is working on Division 2 and that it's inevitably coming out. I am glad that he has the inside scoop before even Massive probably does, and if they are working on it, we'll probably see some pretty cool footage with people who don't know how gamers talk at the 2019 E3, and that game will probably vaguely represent a game that'll be released about 2 years later. So enough of that. Let's get into the State of the Game, and I'll explain what I mean when I say, my first statement about being clueless what's going outside of the clique. And it isn't really just Hamish or Yannick. There's a lot of other people inside Massive, and they obviously, Hamish and Yannick, they're obviously just two dudes who haven't found out that they really secretly have a crush on each other. Although everybody who's watching awkwardly each week can totally tell they have a Ross-Rachel thing going on. And I'm pretty sure Hamish is Rachel in that scenario. So, or they both are. I'm pretty sure they're both Rachel in that scenario. So now the gist of this week's State of the Game is we shouldn't have said what we said because we wanted the State of the Game to be a year one celebration and not a year two announcement, meaning we fucked up because we let Joey write the script. Yes, loads of Friends references this week for you. Now, they are going to discuss the backlash and outcry from the public who took their year two announcement as that that was the only thing they're doing for year two and nothing else, and that's not what they wanted to portray in the year one celebration. Now, the simple fact that they focused on this, the lack of content, that people were upset the lack of content, shows exactly how out of touch they are, and frankly how out of touch a lot of people are about why the Division community is so upset at Massive right now. Now, I'm not upset at what they announced because the more the content they put out, that's great. That's good for everybody. It's what was not announced and that people, myself included, are mad at, and it might not even be something you knew until I'm about to mention it. Then we'll find out if you're really upset about it. This is it, because I hate making people wait. It's the lack of new content that is upsetting people the most. For the last year and some odd days now, we have been playing the same exact content in one form or the other in the same walled off sections of New York since day one. Yes, they did add some new Dark Zone areas. Well, good job, but that's not what I'm talking about. The new shit people are excited about would be new missions, new content, new stories. This is why people are upset. Massive basically announced they weren't going to add in any new missions, but seasons. Let that just seek in. They can't do a story mission, but they can go ahead and give you seasons, or hashtag working name. Massive's idea of giving its players a fun time is by taking the same exact content, the same stale bullshit that you have been playing over and over again, and rehashing it to be a little bit different. It's the same. We've been running it for a year. I don't care if you add Santa Claus to the end where he hands out exotic cash once a week. The content to keep the players happy is not there. People are tired of running Lexington, Russian Consulate, Lincoln Tunnel over and over and over again, and they sure as shit aren't going to want to run it in a paintball mode or explodey head mode or rainbow gay mode or any other modifier for that matter. I'm not sure who gave the idea that we enjoy running the same missions over and over again for a chance at a 0.01% drop if anybody out there is still running for Lorraine Barrett's chess piece, but Big Home, I don't care if it has big head modifiers on. I don't want to continue to do that in year 2. I want something fresh. I want something real. I want something that's not the same as the same as the same as the same as year 1. Massive has failed in an extreme way, and they have ultimately set the bar so low for what not to do in DLC, or at least what not to label as your major expansions. Game modes aren't expansions, they're game modes, and you can't call it a major expansion if you don't expand on anything. And you could have put them in a store instead of tricking us into buying this season pass thing and putting them in the store as alternative game modes that would have at least set an expectation. Saying they are major expansions is a downright lie, because they are separate games in and of themselves. They could exist outside of the Division as their own game mode, and you could have just sold it as that to us. That's not, you didn't have to trick us. We had already bought this, the season pass, the DLC. Expansions from the playlist do not live up to what we were promised, and you lied to everyone who bought the season pass. Yes, Ubisoft, I have no idea how much Massive had in control of this, but Ubisoft, you lied directly in the faces of the players, and then you slapped us in the face with year 2, and I can say now that season 1 is done that this is 100% true. Monthly events never happened. Let's break down the season pass really quickly, because it's been a while since I'm sure that anybody saw, this much bullshit outside of the farm. The core of the Division season pass will be 3 major expansions released over the course of the year. Each expansion builds on the Division, continuing your agent's journey with new content, gear, and gameplay as you fight to take back New York. Okay, so the core of the season pass will be 3 major expansions. Okay, let's go ahead and fix this. It will be 3 DLC game modes released over the course of a year. And that even came down to the deadline. It was very close to a year. Each expansion builds on the Division. No, it doesn't. Those 3 expansions did not build on the Division. Continuing your agent's journey with new content. No, you continued it with new game modes, and it didn't continue. There was no continuing for my agent's journey. My agent's journey ended at the UN building. That's where it ended. That was it. It made me a few incursions. That's it. Yes, you added gear, and I'm not sure what gameplay new gameplay is. I'm still a little boggled by that, but as you fight back to take back New York. Well, guess what? It has been a whole year, and we haven't even been close to taking back New York. It is still 2015 in New York, and I'm not even gonna harp on that, because that's just the way the game is. So let's keep going. Season pass owners also receive a set of exclusive weapons and weapon skins, or exclusive outfits and weapon skins, as well as access to special monthly benefits, including exclusive content drop and special events. Now, after a while, they realized they had to make good on some of these season pass things, so why not make it weapon skins and content drops? Exclusive outfits never happened. They did not do it. They broke their promise. They reneged upon it. And I had a video at the very beginning of all of my Division content. You guys can go back and take a look at that, where they said in the thing, they said season pass owners would get the sports pack, and then Ubisoft was like, not gonna happen, because we need to make some money. And it never, they never had a special event in year 1. It never happened. The only events happening were the ones that the community itself took upon itself to create. In fact, Massive should be bending over to kiss the asses of people like the Clancy Elites, Upper Echelon, Triton HD, and all the rogue groups for hosting, streaming, and basically creating the events that Massive was supposed to do themselves. It's ridiculous that we are in year 2 of a game that basically lied to us from day 1. Look at scavenging. Just look at scavenging. Remember all of the videos I did about scavenging back in the day and how it didn't work, or it did work, or it was working, and they continued to tell us how it was working, and it was working great, and it was working as intended, and then they pulled it from the game because it never worked. That is exactly what they've done with the season pass. All right, so now that I have wasted a ton of time going over some of this other stuff that vaguely had something to do with the state of the game and why Massive is really out of touch with the communities, let's go ahead and talk about the other things. They are going to do another ETF, and that's pretty cool. I am fully aware of that, in favor of them doing another ETF. Now, is there enough content to do another ETF? Or, what is it that they're going to do at ETF? What do they need feedback on? And is it get loadouts? Are they going to give people loadouts? Are they going to be able to try loadouts? But here's the thing that I want. It may actually give the normal casual people who play this game and are still supporting it a chance to visit and talk with Massive and give their opinions on the game, instead of listening to people who play the game with ulterior motives like YouTube views and Twitter views and all of that stuff. Honestly, this is about trying to make the game better and not creating publicity for the damn thing. Just let the normal player who is out there that is still playing the game, like when you do your, your recruitment for the Clancy Elites or whatever, or not Clancy Elites, for the ETF, look at playtime over the last 3 or 4 months and just pick the people who have been playing the crap out of it, because those are the people that love the game. Don't pick people based on their YouTube channel, their Twitter account, their Facebook posts, or how much ass they're kissing to you during, the live streams or, in the state of the game. Pick people based on their value to the game and whether they have ideas. So that is really, what I hope that the ETF Charlie is. I hope it's the regular people who are actually still playing the game, still invested in the game, and they're still really just excited about playing this game. So, all right, let's bring it home. They fixed some of the revive bugs. The rest will be fixed in a DLC scheduled for year 3. Shotgun Stagger is under investigation. Most likely they're going to implement blacking out the screen when you get shot by a random pellet, and then spin you around once the black screen is there, so you have no idea what it is, or they'll just insta-death you. Probably something along those lines. So, Last Stand healing score has been adjusted. Now you'll get points for letting your teammates crawl around in the snow while you try and get your green firework to explode on them. Spawn camping, they're looking into this, and they're hoping to give players more of an option to spawn. And all right, let's go ahead and put the brakes on here, because the problem isn't the spawn. And this is another thing, out of touch. I talked with a lot of people about this issue, and well, it's not a spawn issue. It's not where you spawn. That is not the issue. And you need to listen to this loud and clear. It is a small part of it, but it isn't. The problem is that by the time you see the other team, your name has been on the screen for a good 5 seconds already, alerting the other team of pussies to the exact spot that you are going to pop in at. So they know exactly where you are, and they can start firing by the time you even appear, and you're dead by the time you can even move. That is the problem. Take that to the bank. That is the issue. It has nothing to do with the spawn point. It has everything to do with the fact that there is a tell to the other team of exactly where you were going to spawn and who is going to spawn there. That has nothing to do with where you spawn. So although I'm sure you could actually, see before you spawn in, it would be, it probably wouldn't matter. But anyways, how about just ending the game if the other team is spawn camping? How about just doing that? Shouldn't that be, the mercy rule? Shouldn't there be a mercy rule of if the other team is absolutely just spawn raping you, that you just end the game? That's, if the other team is spawn camping and holding all the points to the point where the other team can't do anything but die in their spawn, just end the game. Just end it right there. Don't let them get any more points. Don't let them sit there and exploit the game. Just let the game end and let them have the win, and that's it. And there are a few other things that they're looking at, like lag and constant connection to the host is poor, but loadouts will be coming to the PTS. So there you go. You guys are going to be able to test out loadouts before anybody else on the PTS, before console players. Even though they said that they're working on some sort of console PTS solution. So hopefully that comes in just a few months or anything like that. I would love to see a console PTS solution. That way we understand how these things are affecting the console, and we don't find out once they're released, because the only people that have played them are on PC. But the console PTS, that's going to deflate the Steam numbers that we see on the Steam chart, and it won't make them go up because people aren't playing the PTS or anything like that on Steam. So anyways, I went over my time about 5 minutes ago. I really wanted to keep this as short as possible. I apologize for this being so salty, but I am just tired of listening, massive listening and not doing anything about it. I'm going to have a fucking stroke because of this game. So, if you like more of Mountie Curl having a good time and writing comments like this one here and talking about this here, Mountie Curl is going to be a bit more unhinged in the future when it comes to the Division, and I'm going to try and give you guys a little bit more of a laughter at the expense of some truthfully awful satire, because that's what this is. At this point, it's really a lot of satire, and you know, there's definitely a lot of truth coming out, but I may exaggerate things and I may under-exaggerate things, because there's a lot of stuff that, you know, you're sitting there, you're nodding your head going, Mountie Curl's right, this is some shit, like this is crazy, like how is he inside my head? Mountie Curl, get out of my head. Anyways, that's really it. But, you know, if you want more of this, go ahead and subscribe to us. I'm gonna try and be a little bit funnier sometimes. You know, I'm not funny all the time, I'm pretty serious a lot of the time, but at this point, you know, it's time to, you know, take the gloves off and be a little bit funny when it comes to this game, because that's the only thing we can do is laugh at this game. So let's go ahead and make the most of what we can. So thank you for watching. For everyone here at the Division Let's Talk, I am Mountie Curl, and we'll see you trying to revive your buddy and failing miserably at the last stand. Once again, Mountie out.